Hello, everybody. Cal, Mastermind. Welcome to the meetup. My name is John. I am from Harden Realty. We help people buy and sell properties. We also help investors buy properties to do Airbnb or long-term property management. And we also do the other company which that is hosting Airbnb for people, right? So whether short-term, long-term, real estate, that's what we do. So it looks like a smaller crowd today. I suppose it's the weather. We are going to pass the mic around and introduce each other first. And so you guys have an idea of what each other do, and you guys can maybe get together later, and if you guys want to partner up, stuff like that. Okay, so I'll start over here. So for those who have been having this meetup for over a year now, so there'll always be new people, and there are some people who are really new, as in never done any investment before. So I just want to let you know it can be quite scary doing it the first time. What helps is if you mingle after the meetup and talk to some people, you might want to partner up with somebody, right? The person maybe have more money, more time, more experience, whatever, then you go 50-50. Okay, like how I started 7 years ago with Noah, right? I do the technology stuff, the automation, the software, and then Noah does the sale, and then we manage Airbnb. Besides our own, we manage for others, and then we just kept growing, okay, till we hit like 100. So if you are too scared to start, consider partnering up with somebody.
Hey everyone, my name is Doug. I'm a local investor here in West Sacramento, looking to meet new people and see how we can work together.
All right, we'll right now pass the mic to Bharat, and he's going to talk about freedom investor.
Hello everyone. If you can't hear me, let me know. I'm keeping the mic very close to my mouth. So I'll be speaking about a topic very close to me that I like to talk. How professionals, everyday professionals, can build wealth beyond traditional investing. I'll explain in detail what I mean. So my name is Bharat. I worked for 25 plus years in Silicon Valley. So what's my story? My story is not about how unhappy I was, how dissatisfied with my career. No, I was pretty happy with my career. I enjoyed my career actually. I worked for startups. I worked for mid-size. I even worked for a global giant. I like global teams. So then what happened? There are like two parts to that question. I actually left my corporate career 2.5 years ago. There's something major happened in late 90s in this country. You guys, some of you should remember that. I know some young folks here, like Sean, he may not know that. But there's something happened major in this country in public markets. What is that?
The internet? The internet?
What is that?
The internet?
Very close. Yes. the dot-com bubble. So what's a dot-com bubble? Companies of all sizes, companies with no products, were going into IPO and were trading at a crazy multiple. And they were, I still remember, stock prices were changing by $100, going up by $100 to $200 on a day-to-day basis. So I was a young engineer in Silicon Valley. You know, I finished my grad school, moved to the West, and I was working like anyone else, like in the Silicon Valley, and now, I used to think very innocently, oh my God, I could probably retire in few years. Guess what happened? Then the dot-com burst, and everything fell to the earth. And I didn't have a ton of young engineer, as I mentioned. I lost 95% of my stock portfolio in few months. So that experience, that single experience stayed with me for decades. But I didn't know what else to do. I only knew about working for somebody. And I transitioned within the tech world. I got into business side, management side. I started leading teams, as I said, but I didn't know where else to invest, honestly. You know? And can you hear me better now? Oh, hey, that's good. Thank you. All right. So I realized that I need to learn. Then I also realized that realized income, the income, is not financial freedom. All right. Okay. So fast forward almost 2 decades, I started investing beyond public markets. And that is what is beyond public markets is private markets. And there are lots of assets, lots of different categories in private markets. But I primarily focus on multifamily and senior housing. So till date, I am I'm a GP, sponsored in 12 deals, and I have about 1,000 units so far. All of my multifamily is out of state. Midwest primarily, South, Texas, yeah, Kansas, Florida, South Dakota. But my senior housing is right here in Sacramento region. And recently I published a book to talk about what I'm going to speak right now. Okay. A little bit about what we do. So the Eldorado Capital, my firm, primarily invests in multifamily, that is apartments. It's a value add investment, it's called. Buying existing properties, improve the property, make it better for the residents, and eventually grow the value of the property. Housing is, as you all know, is a basic necessity, especially the mid-level category housing. And it's always driven by, the demographics, of course. And the other one we started recently is senior housing, primarily assisted living and memory care. And this is also a strong asset because it's driven by the changing demographics in this country. So what's our investment philosophy? It's primarily three things. Protect the capital. That's of most importance to us. We rather not make profits, but we should save the capital and produce cash flow, produce profits, and build long-term wealth. I do not believe get rich tomorrow. These assets are long-term hold, and they do definitely produce cash and long-term wealth. So we all have been told in life, get education, work really hard, save, save into 401k, save, put some money in stock markets, and hope that all works out one day. But does it happen? It may for some people. I'm not saying it doesn't work. But there is no assurance. It's not guaranteed that you'll find the freedom, the lifestyle that you wanted. We have a dependence on paycheck till the day arrives. And your entire investments is linked to market, right? When I say market, public markets, right? It can go up one day, goes down one day. Did the market go down or up today? Anyone looking at stock market now? That's right, down today. Do you have control of it? No.
Yeah,
Right,
no.
that's exactly. And they do produce some cash flow, like in form of dividends. Mostly the focus is not on passive income, and there's no diversification. Having like 5 mutual funds or index funds is not diversification. I'll talk in diversification in detail in a few minutes. It's not. And as I was saying a minute ago, your financial freedom, the lifestyle you want to have is delayed. It's delayed until retirement. My father worked only for 2 companies. That's it. Oh, he's enjoying his retirement, but he's not living his lifestyle that he wanted. Sorry.
I read some of your book, and if you haven't talked about it already, I wanted you to speak more about how to transfer from the tech industry into real estate and that the partnership. And was that like a syndication
Yeah,
partnership?
I'll talk in a minute. Yeah, you got it. Oh, good timing. That's why I wrote The Freedom Investor, the book. I was a technologist, and as I said, I didn't know anything about investing in other categories, other things. But sometimes there are moments in life that changes the entire life. I was talking to friends. They said, "Have you thought about investing in a commercial real estate, like a multifamily, everything?" What is that? I said. This was like 8 years ago. Then I went to meetups like this in Silicon Valley. I joined a boot camp and learned everything that I could, reading everything about that I could find. That's how my journey started. Then I started as an investor and as a sponsor in a smaller deals. I didn't go and jump on a large deal. I would caution against that. Partner with some senior people. If you want to invest or partner. So the book actually talks about alternatives beyond what I call traditional path investing. It can give you multiple income streams. It's not going to be huge. It's not going to make a ton of money initially, but it'll start, you know, and it'll increase over the years and decades. So this is what typically everyday investor invests in this country. They invest in single asset class, public markets. What is public market? It's stocks, mutual funds, bonds, into a retirement account, which we are all familiar, 401k, IRAs, and all that. And as I said earlier, all of this is tied to a market cycles and investor sentiment. They can go down, go up. We don't have any control. And we don't have any control. But the approach I took, the broader approach is diversify across public and private markets. What is the private markets? Private markets is many different categories. Private real estate, which is multifamily, senior housing, storage, office, hotels, industrial, RV, camps, you name it. There are many, many subcategories in it. Private credit, somebody talked about hard money here earlier, comes under private credit. Private businesses, you can buy an ownership into a local business or start with someone else and you can become a passive one. Right. And of course, there are other alternative assets. These are all called private falls, oil and gas, infrastructure, metals, there are many other categories. The goal is not to avoid stocks or replace stocks. The goal is to build a diversified portfolio across the public markets and private markets. There are gurus on both the sides. Don't go to private markets, you will lose it. And there are gurus on the private markets who will say, invest all your money, sell your stocks, don't invest in 401k. No, it's a bad idea. Public markets is an excellent asset category, but please, you need to think about long term, not short term. That is the goal. I already talked about it, diversification. You get potential for cash flow, reduced exposure. And many of us, or at least I didn't know, that there are wonderful tax benefits when you invest in private markets. Not all assets, but some. You can write off your profits from that property or different property with the depreciation. The Congress recently passed 100% depreciation back. So that's a wonderful thing for real estate investors. So you can continue to get 100% depreciation until they change the law. So what's in the book? My book. It's about mindset. Any investor needs a mindset, long-term mindset. And they need to understand about themselves and have a focus on it and think about the financial freedom. And I did a ton of research on how wealthy invest in this country. I interacted with some, I attended webinars, I went to a lot of conferences to try to understand their thing. Do you know how much percentage wealthy invest in private markets? Anyone wants to guess?
10 to 12%.
What's that?
10 to 12.
In private markets?
Uh-huh.
No. Anyone else?
2%.
2%? No. How much percentage wealthy invest in private markets?
25%.
No. 60 to 70%. I'm talking about rich people in this country. They do invest in public. I'm not saying that. but most of their wealth comes from private markets. That's how they make money, and that's how they get the tax benefits. They defer the taxes, continue to defer to 1031 programs, everything. And they look at investments which will give us then the biggest multiplier, and they diversify. Yes.
I know you invest a lot in assisted living homes, and then you also have like more regular real estate investments. Could you talk a little bit about like the difference between the two and what made you get into like assisted living and maybe the income difference compared to regular real estate investments?
Sure. Well, I started with multifamily. It's an excellent asset classes. There's no question. It's going through some transition. Okay. Things were great a few years ago. It's going through transition. Real estate goes in cycles. That's the nature of it, right? So, meanwhile, I started hearing about senior housing, and then I did my own research, the demographics, the trends, all of that. So, I wanted to be an investor primarily to learn, or maybe, more of a passive investor, learn about it, then invest. As it turned out to be in my very first investment, I was asked to be a general partner. Everything. To answer your question, what's the difference? The difference is senior housing is more of a business with some real estate, whereas multifamily, industrial, storage is pure real estate play. There is some business aspect to everything, but senior housing is heavy business, heavy operations.
Yeah.
It's about taking care of the golden seniors 24/7. You need to have staff 24/7, take care of all of them. The returns are a little bit higher in senior housing if we can meet your projections. So you need a manager, you need an administrator, all of that. I can run 100 units property with maybe 2 people or 3 people. In a 20-bed facility, I might need about 7, 8 people. Yeah.
And I was gonna say because at a different real estate event, like one of these,
Yes.
there was another agent that was at a different real estate event, like one of these. There was another agent that was basically he was trying to recruit me, and he was telling me about assisted living, like what you do, and he was pitching like a business idea on how you could become a millionaire from assisted living, and how some investors might like do like pad split or house hacking and find properties that they can split into multiple rooms because in one room you can have like say 3 patients or something like that, and then each patient they get like say like 6K per bed, and then you multiply it by say 10 rooms, or like what you were talking about, like 20 beds, you multiply it by 20, and then do the income based off of that per month, and then like obviously subtract your expenses and things like that. And so like those numbers compared to multifamily investing are a little bit different, but in a good way.
It is. You charge per room, and the room can be split. But it's not like you can find a house and get into the business right away. Sean, who is sitting right there, he knows about it. You need to get a license from the state. It takes about a year or even longer. And sorry, you want a question?
Sorry, just real quick. So those of us who just start out, which one takes more capital to start? You said it's business heavy. Businesses need a lot of capital, get going and run it, and you need to hire people, you need to get going and licenses. Versus multifamily, you buy a multifamily. Seems like it would take less to start multifamily than a senior housing. Is that true or no?
Yes and no. It all depends on how big of a property you're buying, right? If you're buying like a 20 units multifamily versus a 60 unit property or 100 units property, you obviously will spend less than 20 units. So there is a difference, and it all depends on how much you're buying. And the capital, you need equal money depending on if it's senior housing costs you 10 million, multifamily costs you 10 million, you need to come the same down payment. But what I'm trying to say earlier is that it's more of a business in senior housing, you need more people to run that business. You had a question, did I answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So continuing with my book, it's so I'll talk about public market. Invest in index funds. Nothing new. Don't do individual stocks. Again, that's my principle. When people talk that they made money in individual stocks, they could be true. My friends talk about it all the time, but they don't talk when they lose money. It's better, it's wiser to invest in index funds like S&P 500, all of them. The index funds beat the individual stocks 97%. So who's the other 3% who can beat the index funds? The gurus, like Warren Buffett. They have an army of analysts in their office. That's all they do. And even Warren Buffett says that invest in index funds. Once he had a famous bet with one mutual fund manager. I think it's $1 million or it's in the internet if you can find it. He said index fund can beat his fund, the mutual fund fund. And guess who won? Warren Buffett. So if Warren Buffett is telling us we should pay attention and invest for long, obviously. Don't think about short term in public markets or even private markets. So continuing with private markets, the book is primarily focused on private markets. And I talk about different asset classes and how to, understand how to do the due diligence and how to invest. That's the core of the book, actually. Then I also wrote about how to protect your assets. You work hard, you grew the money, you multiplied your wealth, but you need to protect through trust and insurance. The key component of any one who's trying to protect their money. And finally, I talked about legacy and giving back to the community. I personally support nonprofits who support underprivileged children here and globally. Okay. So I'll just quickly talk about the book. As I said, I launched my book recently on May 19, and it hit the bestsellers list. It was #1 in real estate investing, 2 in the book category. It also was in retirement planning and wealth management. And thankfully, I received about 120 plus positive reviews so far. You can scan the QR code to get your copy. I did bring some copies today. Thanks to my lack of preparation, I thought I had more books. I thought they were sitting in my car. Did not. My family moved the books, I guess. So I did bring some books, but if you happen to be in Folsom area, let me know. I'm always happy to meet you with the books on that. And again, thank you for your time today. I'm happy to answer any questions. But first, I want to thank Meena, who invited me to be present today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you for
Sean,
having me.
thank you for setting up. Thank you. And this is my contact information. You can send me an email or go to my website. You can scan the QR code to reach me. Someone had a question?
Yeah, you discussed, care homes.
You hear this? Okay, Carol.
We discussed care homes, and how they can be labor intensive and licensing and a lot of hassles like that. Actually, senior homes, how's that different? Senior homes, how's that different? Care homes?
What do you mean by care home?
Well, kind of, nursing homes, assisted living.
Yeah. So,
Don't see, don't senior homes give you a list.
yeah, there are different categories in senior housing. There is independent senior living, which is like 55. I really wonder, are you really 55? You need that, but let's say 60 plus or something like that. And then there are the categories: assisted living. So these are the seniors who need some assistance on the daily activities. Right? Some are more active, some are less, but they do need some help. And the next is memory care. We all going to have some issues as we get old. So that's the second. Third is clinical care. It's more of a hospital setting where the nurses and the physicians are there. Actually, it's not a hospital. They live right there. Okay, that's the fourth case.
I have one question. Do the people who invest in your syndication, do they need to be accredited?
Very good question. I had deals where the investors have to be accredited. It depends on how you frame the legal documents. And some deals, they do not have to be. So what's the difference? It's an SEC regulation to protect the investors. So for example, I met you at this nice winery, we can all have drinks. You're impressed with me. I take a check from your investor. Then I don't produce the returns. You're going to be hurt. Yeah, so they want to protect you. You have a lot of net worth, a decent net worth to invest. Then it's okay. We can meet at a winery and you can write a check or I can write a check to you. But if not, you need to have an existing relationship. I should know you well enough and I've at least met you 3 times before the deal started. So I know you are there. The business associate, or we met at this meetup, doing everything, something like that. For some period of time, we need.
Does anybody else have any question?
I was still wondering about the previous question though, is there some sort of category or classification on the state website that says this is a type of senior assisted living, this is a nursing home, this is somewhere in between, and what kind of medical, I think that's where I thought that question was gonna go. Do you need to have like a doctor versus a nurse versus a physical therapist versus nobody at all?
Yeah, it's a different license, you're right.
And where would that be?
Yeah.
Like, so as you're doing your checks and balance, or, you're checking and making sure your investment's not gonna lead you in court, like, where, when you getting into the living, where did you go to say, okay, we had that, we're good to go? And then how do you vet, like, no, that person needs this person, this, I don't know. I guess I'll have to read the book, right? But is there a way you can simplify it?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you buy a senior housing, you will know which one you're buying or which one you're getting established. So
And how will I know that? Just from talking, or I mean,
yeah, from the seller, from the broker. Which
Okay.
one are you interested? Are you buying an assisted living or a memory care or a critical nursing, more of a critical facility? Whatever.
and who classifies that? The person is the owner only, or is the state?
The state, oh.
Okay.
You run one of them. Can't run all of them on the same facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the state will give you a, like, they'll come and inspect the facility for in assisted living and memory care, you don't need nurses and physicians. You just
Okay.
need a caregiver.
That's something new for me.
Then you just need the caregiver. The medical providers, they come to the facilities, or the family members take the family seniors or parents to the hospitals. For the advanced care facilities, there are physicians, there are care nurses, and the physicians. That's the difference.
I guess anybody interested in this will have to consult me online.
Okay. All right, let me take one photo, please.
Oh, also, I would like to take a group photo in front of the projector when you go back to the slide that has your book on it, and you can all take a picture together. And then if anyone else has any other questions, you guys can just like consult them like directly since they're gonna start doing their live music over there.
Yeah, that would be small.
Since we don't know, okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a group photo.
After we take the photo.
Okay, everybody?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, they can fit. Okay, don't go in front of the projector, only go on the side. Like scoot this way just a little bit. You can scoot to either this side or that side. Like behind them. And then Bharat, you stay where you're at, right there. And then you guys come in a little bit more. You can. Let's see. You guys actually can all cover up the projector because you can't see it all here and anything. So might as well. Say cheese look like you're happy to be here or something. And then I want to go.
Well, hey, is that a flash? There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me give you my
Thanks
phone
everyone
number.
for coming. So
Yeah.
let's mingle and you guys might find interest in partnering with some people or at least just learn from each other. So see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So